Yeah. All right. We are live on YouTube. Yeah, we are live on YouTube. How's everybody doing today? How are you all doing? Welcome to episode number 857. Yesterday, I think I got it wrong. I said episode 656. It was actually 856. Today is 857. It is what it is. I'm human. I make mistakes. So welcome to episode number 857 of Navigating the Modern World with Eli, the Walking with Purpose live edition, live again today from Red Morton Park because the sun has already set a few minutes ago and I'm going to be walking in the dark again, but that's okay. A man's got to do what a man's got to do, right? Today is day 5 of the GNA membership drive. GNA is short for Genuine Networking Association, an organization I started way back in 2011. The networking organization used to run in-person networking events to connect entrepreneurs with their next power partners and possible clients, and we also taught personal development back then. Today, we have shifted more towards the online world and focusing more so on personal development, but we still connect entrepreneurs on Facebook and LinkedIn, and we're still going to keep on doing that. But our main purpose out here on YouTube is to help people learn to better love themselves and to teach them self-help / personal development, because that's the key to having a happy and successful personal and professional life. And we're going to be emphasizing a lot today on loving yourself, because that's the biggest deal. Robert, I still need to unban you, man. I keep forgetting, man. I'll get to it. And we'll do our shows. I'm sorry, man. I've had so much going on behind the scenes. I barely have time to do these walks. But we'll get to it, Robert. How are you doing? How is your wife doing as well? Hope you both are doing well. But the main focus of today's show, I gave 5 fist bumps. Well, thank you so much for that. That's true. Yeah, there they are. Yeah, thank you, Robert. Hope your weekend's going well. But today's main focus is going to be on self-love, because we're going to be talking about how to let go of past trauma. And there's a reason why I'm doing this topic. I was inspired to do this topic by another video I came across. And that video that I came across was yours, Miss Dana from the Adventure AZ channel. We've been talking about you a bit lately. We'll even give you a little plug. I don't care, at Adventure in AZ. Channel is Adventure AZ, ADVENTUREAZ, all one word, or you can just type in at Adventure in AZ, ADVE at ADVENTUREINAZ. I'm giving you a plug, Dana, because I don't hate you, Dana. I never have. I don't think you're a bad person. I don't think any people necessarily are bad people, even if you've done some things that people would deem to be bad. We all make mistakes, right? And I'm not blaming you for anything, Dana, but I'm going to use you today for example purposes, right? Because I saw your video. I saw your video that you put out, I believe, yesterday. I saw it earlier today. And you did mention me, and you still called me a beta male, and you still said I'm a fake life coach, and I don't have the experience, or I don't know what I'm talking about. Really? Okay. I'm glad you feel that way. Well, I'm not glad you feel that way. I accept that you feel that way is what I'm trying to say. But you are the perfect example because people that behave like you, Dana, or react like you are the reason or reasons why I do what I do here. Your behavior is common amongst many people that are unhappy and miserable about themselves deep within. Now, here's the thing. Respectfully speaking, I'm just going to call it as I see it, and I'm not here to trash you. I'm here to help you and others, and I know you don't want my help, but you're talking about me, so I'm going to use you as an example and try to help legitimately. That's the way it goes, right? So here's the thing where I think your issues stem from, Dana Adventure AZ channel. You keep talking about this woman named Tammy that went at you unprovoked on another platform called Kiwi Farms many years ago for many years. I know what happened. I believe you, and you're right. You're not wrong about that. You're not wrong about anything you're saying about her. Everything you're saying about her, in my opinion, you're not wrong about. Now, again, I wasn't there, and I'm very careful with how I say things on YouTube when dealing with people like Tammy, because if you say something as a fact, even if it is, she's going to threaten to sue you for slander, because that's just who she is. That's the kind of person she is. She knows how to play and exploit the system. More on that in a little bit, Dana. This is what you don't understand, right? You can call me a beta male all you want. You can call me a fake life coach. You can call me a loser. I'll do this. You can call me whatever you want. I'm cool with that. You know why I'm cool with you calling me all those names, Dana? Because I have self-love. Unlike you, you don't have self-love. And I'm not here to criticize you or attack you. I'm stating the obvious that you're not willing to recognize, right? Now, Tammy, same situation. She doesn't have any self-love, but she masks the pain of her lack of self-love by coming at other people like you and me. You have to realize that it's a pure projection. But you're doing the same thing. Instead of recognizing what I'm saying, you're doing the same thing that Tammy is. Not as bad, but you're doing the same thing. So how are you coming off? You're coming off like you're throwing a pity party. Or like you want us to throw you a pity party, right? The one thing I can't stand about people is when they seek pity. And that's exactly how you're coming off. Even though I know you're right about everything, Dana, except the fact that you call me a beta male and all that. That's just a projection, in my opinion. Right? And I know Tammy right now is rebroadcasting the unlisted. And you've got a leak in there, Tammy. But don't worry, I'm not going to take you down because you're going to threaten to sue me for rebroadcasting the unlisted on your YouTube channel, then uploading it to Rumble afterwards. Because you won't put it out there publicly, right? Because you're afraid of losing your monetized channel, right? Right? You're trying to protect something that you yourself know, because of the content you're creating and the lines you're pushing and crossing, eventually YouTube's going to take care of you too. And I'm going to have nothing to do with that. I'm not filing shit on you. I don't flag you or do anything, YouTube will take care of you on their own. Because when your channel goes down, Tammy, again, for whatever reason, you can subpoena every single record at YouTube or through their attorneys, and you're not going to find anything, just like you're not going to find anything about trying to blame me for a copyright takedown on Jamie's Corners channel for All in the Family, which I had nothing to do with that. Right? That's fine. See, Adventure AZ Dana, eventually, those that play with fire get burned, including Tammy playing with fire. Eventually, it's going to bite her in the ass. Right? But again, the way you're coming off, Dana, is like you're seeking a pity party. That's the way you're coming off. And there's a reason why you're coming off that way, because you're lacking self-love. You're trying to come out and say, you know, I've been taking care of myself. I know you lost all this weight in the past. Congratulations. Your health is important. I commend you for that, Dana. You've lost a lot of weight. You've gotten thin, healthier in that way, right? Other aesthetic things you've been talking about lately that you're going to be working on. That's great. So basically, you're talking about cosmetically making yourself better, right? And nothing wrong with that. But I think one of the main reasons why you're trying to continuously make yourself cosmetically better is because you lack self-love. You're trying to come off like you have self-love, but your behavior and actions are showing otherwise. If you had self-love and you were in a happy place completely, even if you thought I was a beta male, you wouldn't publicly lash out about it. You have the right to share your opinions in any way that you want, Dana. But people that are in a good place emotionally and have self-love would not feel the need to lash out on YouTube and call someone a beta male just because that person comes out and is trying to help people better their lives through teaching personal development. Now, I'm going to wait a second here because this is the bad reception area and I want to make sure I don't get cut off. All right. Now, let me explain some things here. First of all, the reason why, and I'm using you as an example, Dana, but this can work for anyone, okay? The reason why I feel you're overreacting to all this Tammy stuff and you're seeking to better yourself, which is fine. You should always seek to better yourself, which is why you're looking to do all the cosmetic stuff on you, okay? Is because you're lacking self-love, and that's what it all boils down to. You're lacking self-love. You're completely lacking self-love. Now, I want you to understand something. Oh, yeah, and your lack of self-love is stemming from the fact that you have unresolved trauma. Now, we know your story publicly. Those of you that have been around for a while. Hello, Queen Helen Casey. How are you doing? Great to see you. Great to see you, Queen. How's it going? I love it when Queen pops up. Now, there are a lot of new people here on my end. I keep busy, says Queen, or I've been busy. Okay, awesome. Wonderful, Queen. Thank you for being here. Now, I know your backstory because I've heard your past videos and seen your past postings, Adventure AZ, Dana. You have a lot of trauma from your marriage, probably from your childhood as well. And you have a lot of trauma from the stuff that happened with Tammy. You are a very traumatized woman. And I'm not shaming you for that. I'm not kicking you down for that. But you have a lot of trauma, Adventure and AZ, Dana. And most of your trauma is unresolved. Let me repeat, Dana. Most of your trauma is unresolved, because if your trauma was resolved and you were okay with everything, you would have let it go. And you wouldn't be coming out here and calling some dude on the internet just trying to help people a beta male. Some dude in a different state that you don't even know, a beta male. That stems from unresolved trauma. The reason why it triggers you regarding my situation with Tammy is because I haven't taken any action to try to stop her legally, right? And that is triggering your past trauma that stems from her, because you're seeing her do the same things to me. The difference between you and I, Dana, is I can let shit go, and I have. I know what she's doing is completely wrong. And if you don't think I've tried to stop it before, I have. But you got to understand something, Dana. People like Tammy, this is for example purposes, people like Tammy like to play the system. They exploit the system, especially the legal system. They exploit it to their benefit, right? And let me give you some examples here regarding how people like Tammy exploit the legal system, okay? Number one, how she did it to me when she sued me last year, but no big deal on that. Whatever, that's done with, right? Now, your issue with me, Dana, is the fact that, you know, I'm not trying to stop Tammy from using my content, extorting money from me, using my name and likeness in ways that, you know, affect my intellectual property, that are abusing my intellectual property. I know all that, right? So why have I just let it go, and why do I ignore it for the most part? Because you have to understand that the things that Tammy is doing are not criminal matters, Dana. This is what you don't understand. This is what I didn't understand initially, and I learned this on YouTube years ago. These are not criminal matters. They are civil matters. And Tammy knows what she's doing is writing the lines or skating the lines, but she also knows that it's not a criminal matter, and the FBI won't do a damn thing about it, Dana. They won't. You're wasting your time, and you're making yourself look like a fool. The FBI won't do anything about it. I've tried to do that years ago when I had issues with other people. And all they said was it's a civil matter. File a police report with your local police, which won't go anywhere and won't do shit. You got to basically sue somebody in a civil court. Get an attorney, pay tons of money to have an attorney represent you, and pay a ton in court fees, and then waste a bunch of time on a prayer that you might be able to prove that somebody's slandering you and extorting from you on YouTube. Do you understand how that sounds? This is what you don't understand, Dana, and this is why you can't let it go. Now, am I thrilled that Tammy knows the system that well and she's exploiting it to her benefit? Yeah. Does that make her a piece of crap? In my opinion, yeah. Is what she's doing legal? That's questionable. But as long as I allow it, then it's assumed to be legal. You got to understand, civil matters, if you don't take action against somebody abusing your content, then as far as the law is concerned, there's nothing they can do, because they're assuming that you're granting permission if you're not doing anything about it. And it's not that I don't want to do a thing about it, Dana. It costs too much money, and it's too much red tape suing someone civilly with attorney's fees and court fees and providing burden of proof, and it's too much. It's too much. It's too stressful. This is what you don't understand, right? So Dana, understand that a lot of the stuff that Tammy and other people have done out here on YouTube to push the lines as their content and to use people's intellectual property like mine as content and to make money, it's not a criminal matter, Dana. It's a civil matter. And people like Tammy know, small creators like me and others that she goes at, they don't have the time or money or resources to fight what she's doing. So she gets away with it, and she knows she gets away with it. Dana, do you understand? She knows she gets away with it. She's watching this right now, and she knows exactly what I'm saying is true, but to her audience, she'll just present it a different way, because if she agrees to the truth, then she's out of business, right? Do you understand that, Dana? I don't think you do. What you don't understand, Adventure AZ Dana, is that we're more so on the same page than you think. The difference is I have more experience at handling this than you, because I've been down this road on YouTube with other people in the past. And I understand the difference between civil and criminal matters. Now, should all this shit be considered criminal? Yes, but according to the law, it's not. And that's where the flaw in our government system is, right? The same thing when it comes to copyright, Dana. If you're a small creator, you're screwed. Because here's how the copyright system works. If somebody uses one of your videos and you take it down for copyright, they can file a counter notification saying that it's fair use, even if it's not. Then YouTube will turn it back to, let's say it was me, they'll turn it back to me and say, Elias Melas, you have 10 business days to file a lawsuit and provide proof, or the video will be reinstated and the copyright strike will be removed, right? Now, during that time, you can now go and file in a small claims copyright court here in the US, right? You can file in small claims copyright court. But then the person you're suing has 60 days to opt out and force you to sue them in a federal copyright court. And guess what? Let's use Tammy for example. If that happened to her, she would opt out of small claims copyright court, just like Jamie did when ODN sued him, right? Just like anyone else would opt out. They would opt out, so there's no point to it, right? And force you to sue in federal copyright court. Now, what's required for you to sue someone in federal copyright court? Well, technically you get an automatic copyright on anything you create. But when it comes to suing someone in federal copyright court, you need to first register the work of copyright with the federal copyright office. Do you see how flawed the system is? There's so much red tape. People like Tammy exploit that red tape. And that's exactly what pisses you off about it. And quite frankly, that's exactly what's pissed me off about it in the past. Does it still piss me off, Dana, that the system is so fucking flawed and people like Tammy exploit it? Absolutely. But what choice do I have? I'm just moving on and ignoring it and creating my own thing. You said in your last video that, you know, how do I work through this? I'm really upset about this. You're upset about Tammy. How do you work through this, right? You put it out there, right? And I'm going to give you my suggestion, even though you think I'm a fake life coach and you think that I'm a beta male. You take my advice, it'll work. How do you work through this? You ignore her and you move on. and you focus on bettering yourself. Do all the stuff you want to do to cosmetically make yourself better. That's great. Focus time on you, right? Create videos outside of her. If she talks about you, ignore her. Or if you're going to talk about her, then don't let her get to you. Understand what's really happening, like I've been trying to explain to you. It's dark. Lap number 2 coming up. I don't know if I'm going to do 2 laps or go on to a third, but we're going to at least do 2. The way you turn it around, Dana, is you truly accept yourself for who you are, and you truly learn to love yourself, because your behavior to me comes off as a lack of self-love. Nobody that has self-love is going to react like you react or you reacted. They're going to understand and say, yeah, this sucks. I can't stand her. Yes. But you know what? I can't let this get to me because, yeah, there's nothing I can do about it. Yes, what she's doing rides lines, skates lines, and rides lines. But she's a master of playing the system. She's a master of exploiting every flaw in our legal system to her benefit. And quite frankly, I don't want to associate with any people that exploit every flaw in our legal system, because the small creator, or people that don't have a lot of money, can be taken advantage of over civil matters that people like Tammy know we can't afford to defend ourselves. So we just have to let you keep on exploiting us and trashing us and defaming us and extorting from us. That's why you're mad, Dana. And listen, you have every right to be mad. You have every right to feel the way you feel. But at some point, you got to learn to accept that the problem is more so with the system being flawed, right? And let it go, right? Eli, can I address? So I won't mention the name. That unknown name said that you are hurting Dawn, holding her hostage and abusing, plus cheating. Oh, you're talking about Dion. We can talk about it. I don't care. We will talk about Dion. Yeah, Queen. You listen, Queen. Whatever, I respect you to the fullest. You've been here longer than anyone. And at this point right now, I'm going to take care of the people that have supported myself and my channel for the longest time. You're talking about Dion, right? You're talking about the shit that Dion's talking, right? Yeah, let me make sure you're talking about Dion, and then and we'll go, Queen. We'll talk about it. I said I wasn't saying no names. Well, I'll say it for you, Queen. You're talking about Dion, who lives in the same state as you do of New York. Let me address your concerns, Queen, because your concerns are valid. I do respect the fact that you want to keep it anonymous, but quite frankly, what good is that going to do, right? What good's that going to do, right? Yeah, I haven't talked about Dion in ages, but he keeps on posting stuff about me, stuff about Don. Don and I have both blocked him. Don and I have both removed every message from Facebook Messenger. So he has nothing. He's claiming that he has information that he's threatening to release if I don't stop talking about him. First of all, I haven't talked about you. Right now I'm talking about you because Queen is asking about you, Dion. And here's the thing, Dion, if you had anything, you would have already released it. So, you know what? Do us all a favor, Dion. Release what you've got. Or sit down and STFU. Do you know what STFU means, Dion? Release what you got or sit down and STFU. Because you got nothing, Dion. You're trying to keep the audience around by leading them to believe that you got something, and you ain't got shit. Because first of all, Dion, Don never said anything to you in those deleted messages on Facebook Messenger, unsent. So you can't use them for content. Because see, Dion, if we didn't unsend all those, if I didn't help Don unsend all those 2.5 years of messages, you would have been exploiting us for content. Because you're a POS, just like the rest of them, right? This is what these people do, Adventure in AZ, Dana. So you got to learn. I've learned in 6+ years out here, Adventure in AZ, Dana, and Queen and everyone, I've learned to be proactive and understand that as long as you're on good terms with these people, it's all good. The moment that they do something and it makes you want to just go away from them, they feel like you owe them something, right? And then they want to expose all the private shit that you shared with them privately. They're all pieces of crap for doing that. So I've learned to become proactive. And like they call it dirty deleting. It's not dirty deleting. You folks are dirty for wanting to release stuff because after trying to be friends with some of you people for the longest time, and then you start doing shit that we don't like or we don't agree, and we just want to walk away quietly, now you're triggered because you feel like you feel slighted, right? Instead of just walking away maturely, now you're like, oh, I can use all the private shit on Eli and Dawn. I got all the dirt on Eli and Dawn. Tune in right now on my YouTube channel, right? Because you guys try to come at me and say I have no content. I go live almost every day just talking about a topic. You're just part of the topic right now. So I hope that answers your question, Queen. Dion, release what you got or shut your mouth. If you're threatening to come out to California, Dion, buy a plane ticket, and that's all good. We can go have coffee, Dion, if you'd like. I'm not threatening you, and I'm not saying anything like that. What I'm saying is, if you're going to run your mouth, Dion, and you say you want to come to California, and you got all this money, Dion, when in the past you were begging my girlfriend for $5 or $10 multiple times. And don't worry, Dion, I've saved all those messages. You think I just deleted them? I saved them all. The thing is, you didn't save any of them, Dion. But I'm never going to use them, Dion. They're just there in the archives, right? Every time that you begged my woman for a few bucks, right? When you claim that your woman makes $100,000 a year and then you say you make close to what she makes. Give me a break, dude. Hi, Eli. Good to see you, Queen. Hey, Tia, how are you doing? If you missed any parts of the show, Tia, you're going to want to check out the replay because this is another good one. We're using Adventure AZ Dana as an example of how to deal with unresolved trauma or how to let go of past trauma, right? This is day 5 of the GNA membership drive. Okay, sounds good, says Tia. Does that make sense, Queen? I hope I answered your questions there. Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, thank you, Queen. Look, I have the utmost respect for you and Tia. I'm sure Tia respects you too, and you respect Tia. You're all connected behind the scenes through the GNA here. And like I said, from this point on, when it comes to the people that support Don and I here, like you Queen, and Tia have for a while, if you are curious about something, even if it involves drama people from past drama groups on YouTube, I'll address it. And I want to do that because I want to show my support towards you ladies as well and respect your wishes. Do you understand that? And that's why. So Anytime you folks need something, you let me know. And from this point on, we're just going to address it head on and integrate it into our topics, right? But back to you, Adventure AZ Dana, okay? So, with no disrespect intended, I don't think you're a bad person. And I think you have tremendously turned your life around. But I don't think you're fully there yet. I think you're getting there. And I'm not saying that to be condescending or anything. It took me a long time to get to the place of where I'm at right now. You know, get to a good weight level, get some better clothing, right? Learn to love myself where things don't affect me, right? Getting to the level of self-love that I have where most things really don't bother me took a long time. And I struggled with it initially just like you are. I know you're doing whatever you can to work through all of your underlying traumas to become the best version of yourself that you can be, Adventure AZ Dana. And despite how you react to me, whether you still call me a beta male or fake life coach or whatever, and even if, you feel that way, but you still don't like what Tammy's doing to me, here's the thing, Dana. It's not the fact that you don't like what Tammy's doing to me. It's the fact that it triggers your trauma. What she does to me or anyone else, whether you like us or not, is traumatic to you. You're allowing Tammy to create traumatic events. And whether you realize it or not, Adventure in AZ, you allowing Tammy to recreate traumatic events regarding just Tammy existing gives Tammy a lot of power. You're trying to take power away from Tammy, but you're giving her more power because Tammy knows that you're not over it, and she knows she traumatizes you, and she feeds off of that. It's a very narcissistic type of thing. She's not dumb. Neither are you. None of us are dumb. It's just some people are extremely narcissistic and have no shame regarding anything they do. Wicked Lee, just passing through to say hello. I can't stay. Be blessed, everyone. Have a great night. Wicked Lee, thank you for stopping by. Great to see you here. Hope your weekend is going well. So, at the end of the day, Adventure AZ Dana, TS says, thanks for stopping by, Wicked Lee. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. At the end of the day, you're not wrong about most of what you're saying. When it comes to Tammy, you're right about everything you're saying. But again, you have to understand that the system is flawed. And again, I think what bothers you, Dana, is the same thing, or things that used to bother me, and I had to get over it. You're bothered by the fact that Tammy is exploiting flaws in our legal system. And she is. But she's not the only one doing it. There are many other people that have done it on this platform. Now, they wouldn't do this to a larger creator that has millions of dollars and attorneys on hand because they'd get sued and lose everything. But to people like myself, where these people know we don't have the resources financially or otherwise to fight it, and since it's a civil matter, unless we fight it in court, which again we can't afford to fight it because we don't have the resources, money, and otherwise, they're going to keep doing it. They're exploiting that flaw. I really want you to try to understand that, right? And if you still want to call me a beta male or a fake life coach or someone that has no idea what they're talking about, that's all good. What I care about here, believe it or not, Dana, I care about your well-being no matter what you think about me. I am so strong and confident within myself, and I have so much self-love to the point of where I don't care how many times you come at me and try to knock me down. If I can give somebody just basic advice that could help turn their lives around, even if that's you, and even if you're still coming at me, I will do that. I will help anyone. I really truly hope you learn to understand what I'm saying here and not let this shit bother you anymore. Because that's what you said. Again, that's what you said at the end of your last video when you addressed me. Maybe you put out another video since then. I don't think so. That was earlier when I saw your video, I believe, from yesterday. But you were asking, how do I get through this? How do I work through this? Well, it's a simple thing. It's a simple thing. You just got to accept it and move on. And part of accepting it is learning to accept yourself for who you are, learning to love yourself, and also realizing that the only opinion of yourself that really matters is your own. You got to get to the point of where the only opinion of yourself that really matters is your own. And you're not there, because if you were there, you wouldn't be calling me a beta male. You wouldn't even be responding to Tammy. You wouldn't give a shit about this. It wouldn't be worth your time. But you making it worth your time is showing that it bothers you. As far as I'm concerned, the only reason why I'm talking about it is because this is what I do on YouTube to help people. I share these stories as examples. But had it not been for that, I wouldn't give a shit to talk about this. I use this as examples because it's a damn good example. They're damn good examples. Queen Helen Casey says Halloween lights. Yeah, absolutely. All right, we got Fiesta music here at the park. Oh yeah. Orale Holmes. Orale. Oh man. We're what? Less than 2 weeks away from election day. And I hear the polls are really close. We got to start talking about Wow, this is loud. I got to mute for a second. Oh wow, turn my video off. So yeah, they have the doors open. The music is coming from inside. They're like doing karaoke. They have the doors open, and the music is just coming out really loud. So I'm gonna mute for just another second till I get past this. Give me a few, and I'll be right back, folks. All right. I mean, you can still hear it, but we're far enough to the point of where you can barely hear it, and there's incidental copyright coverage on mobile streams on YouTube, so it's not going to affect it. I just do the best I can to keep that stuff out. Now, I want to talk about pity parties, right? So there are a lot of people I've encountered in my life, personally, professionally, online and offline, on YouTube, other social media platforms, and in the real world, that are constantly seeking attention by intentionally throwing a pity party. And I will tell you this, in all honesty, and I've learned to deal with this much better at an older age, but there's nothing more that triggers the shit out of me than somebody trying to throw a pity party on themselves. And I'm saying this respectfully to you, Adventure AZ Dana. That's how you're coming off. You're coming off like you're trying to like you're throwing a pity party for yourself. All right? And again, I'm not saying you're wrong. Tammy will say, oh, yeah, she is throwing a pity party. That's all I'll give you, Tammy. That's all I'll give you. Anything else I'm not going to give you. But yes, it's a pity party. So why are you giving Tammy that? And why are you making yourself come off that way publicly on YouTube, Adventure AZ Dana? You can very well easily ignore this stuff, right? There are many other ways that we could handle this. You could have been nice to me. We could have done a couple of live streams and talked about this respectfully, right? Like we had a conversation, you and I, in the past, and it was a pretty good conversation, and we barely scratched the surface. And I enjoy talking with you because you are raw and real. You are, and I respect that. But you got a lot of unresolved trauma that's affecting the way you're behaving. And I'm not saying that to be critical. I understand you've been through a lot. And look, my girlfriend Dawn's been through a lot. She's been traumatized by a lot of things. And she has her moments every now and then. And even she tries to throw a pity party at times for herself. But when that happens, I sit down with her politely and I tell her, hey, you're much better than that. You're worth it, right? Give me a second here. There was somebody that appeared to have been following me. I think they were like lost. So I cut through. Okay. I got some people following me today. I'm going to wait for them to pass. I'm going to wait for them to pass. See what they do. Oh, it's just an older man. Okay. It's an older man, like in his 80s, walking. Nothing to worry about. You gotta be aware of your surroundings, you know. Okay. If you want me to do a third lap, folks, put a 1 in the chat. Queen and Tia and anyone else that's here, put a 1 in the chat if you want me to do a third lap. Queen says 1. That's wonderful, Queen. Queen, it's really nice to see you. I hope you're having a great holiday season. Hey, Queen. So, everything going okay for you? You don't have to say anything publicly. We can talk behind the scenes, but all is well for you, Queen? You got everything taken care of you needed to take care of? We've been praying for you. TS says 1. Okay. It's unanimous with the 2 people that are actively chatting here. So when you learn to have self-love, that's going to cure all your problems. Same thing for you, Dana. And I'm not saying this to be disrespectful. You're going to see when people lack self-love, you can come at them in the nicest ways possible and they'll still get triggered because they lack self-love. Anyone that lacks self-love, no matter how nice anyone is, the nicer people are to people that lack self-love, like you, Adventure AZ Dana, it's going to trigger you. But see, I'm not trying to trigger you. I'm trying to inspire you, encourage you, and motivate you, and uplift you to a positive place. Right? Queen Helen Casey, I've been doing okay. I'm having shots put in my left foot because of the open sore on my left foot, and the doctor has to scrape the dry skin off my foot. Well, are those cortisone shots? I need to get some cortisone shots myself for my sciatica. In the new year, I'm going to be going in. And dealing with that. It's been a year since I dealt with it. My sciatica is a lot better than it used to be, but I used to not have it until about 4 years ago or so. And initially it was really bad, but you know, I got some help initially and it's gotten better, but I mean it still lingers. So I'm hoping that this time around I'll figure out maybe I'll need a minor surgery. And that happens, you know. No matter how well you take care of yourself, sometimes shit just happens, you know. Numbing shots I am getting in my left foot. Oh, okay. So they numb the pain then. Give me a second, I'll be right back. Third and final lap, folks. Third and final lap. You know, unresolved trauma is going to dictate your entire life. It's going to overtake your entire life until you learn to truly deal with it. Right? And again, there's only one way to deal with it. You've got to dig deep and start loving yourself no matter what. No matter what you look like, no matter what people say about you, no matter how rich, broke, or whatever you have or don't have, you've got to dig deep and learn to love yourself unconditionally no matter what your situation is. Because until you do that, nothing's going to change. You can't work through trauma until you're open to working through it. And the only way you're going to be open to working through your traumas is if you learn to start loving yourself, or at least get yourself on the path of self-love, right? Now, I've dealt with many people in my life that have overcome a lack of self-love. But then they fall back every now and then. And that's okay. That's going to happen to the best of us. You know, I used to relapse regarding self-love. Even in my mid-40s, I used to relapse at times with my behavior out here on YouTube. I overreacted to some things unintentionally. But then I got to the point of where right now I've got self-love no matter what happens, no matter what I do, no matter what anyone does to me or says about me, right? You got to get to that point of, people call it thick skin, right? And on YouTube, you need to have super thick skin. I think in life, you need to have thick skin. And it's not easy. But part of having thick skin is having self-love and knowing your self-worth. If you don't know your self-worth, then how do you expect other people to value who you are? And even if other people are trying to kick you down, I'll say this again. Even if other people are trying to kick you down, as long as you know you're a good person, why does it matter to you what they say or think? It's never mattered to me. The only thing that's mattered to me is people misusing and abusing my intellectual property. And I've tried my best to stop that as best as possible. And I have done that. I've taken a lot of people down for copyright. I've shut down a lot of channels. I'm proudly admitting that because these people are taking advantage of flaws in our legal system, copyright and otherwise, right? And when they backlash and get mad, it's because they're unhappy that their entertainment at my expense has been taken from them, right? But they try to come up and say, "Oh, you take down channels." I do. I proudly take down channels that deserve to go down. You violate the terms of service. You abuse shit. You abuse my content. You abuse other people. I'm going to take you down every time I can. Because I'm a good human being and my outlook is to make the world a safer and better place. And if you're out here trying to make the world a shittier place, if I can try to stop you, I will. Every fucking time. Not just for myself, but to protect the better good of humanity in general. I could bet you this, Dana, and I hope you prove me wrong. I would prefer you prove me wrong. I bet you that you're going to come across this, and instead of saying, yeah, I need to work on self-love and letting shit go and dealing with my trauma head on and not letting people like Tammy affect my trauma. Because honestly, I think what you're seeing Tammy do to me not only triggers your past trauma with Tammy, it triggers your past traumas regarding your entire life, Dana, and it shows in your reaction. You can come back and say whatever you want. I don't care how much more you criticize me. What more can you say? Then I'm a beta male, whatever. You can talk about my living situation. You can talk about my girlfriend. You can talk about whatever, right? What more can you say? I expect you to overreact like you have been, which would further prove my point. But I'm hoping you can prove me wrong regarding what I just said about how you're going to react. I'm hoping that you'll realize there's a better way to handle it, a more mature way to handle it, and that'll resolve everything, including your trauma, right? And it'll help you truly start better loving yourself, which is essential to have a good life. And if you haven't noticed, Dana, I went back and saw part of the replay of Tammy's unlisted rebroadcast of me yesterday, right? And as I was saying everything, she was saying, Eli, you're boring me. Well, that's the whole point, Tammy. I want to bore the shit out of your audience so they don't feel it valuable to donate to you anymore. And you know that. And you made $5. That's what it said on your screen. I don't care if you made 100 or 200, it doesn't matter. But you had $5 on there. You made $5. So the other night Jamie made 26.88 and you made $5. So apparently it's just become old news. And that's why you don't really do it that often anymore. You don't post as much about me. You gotta watch this, Dana. She's gonna fizzle out, and anyone that keeps on trying to exploit the same thing, like my situation, for example, it's gonna fizzle out. Right? I'm just trying to help you see that. I'm trying to be a good person and help you work through all this, despite your thoughts about me. I'm not trying to be any better than you. Heck, I'm not even a coach anymore. I teach personal development through my organization, the GNA, short for Genuine Networking Association. I'm not looking for any accolades. I'm not looking for a pat on the back. All I want to do is help anyone possible work through their trauma so they can actually enjoy life in the way it was meant to be enjoyed, in the way you want to enjoy it. You deserve to have a good life, Dana. And I know you're going to say you have a good life. Maybe you have an okay life. Maybe you're on your way and you've taken care of a lot of things. Yes, you have. You've turned things around. I've seen it, and you know what? Congratulations. But the one thing you still haven't worked through is your lack of self-love. And if you don't get that fixed at some point, you're going to relapse. And you're going to go right back to where it was. You might start drinking again. You might start doing the things that put you in the position you were in the first place. That's all I'm saying. That's it. I've seen this happen to many, many people in my 50 years of life. I hope to God and pray to God that it doesn't happen to you, despite your feelings of me. It doesn't matter. You enjoying streaming me unlisted, Tammy, and then uploading it to Rumble? Are your people enjoying listening to boring coaching content in your eyes, right? You know, you can only make up so many things about someone before even your own audience starts to realize you're being ridiculous, right? And, you know, when I called you out on blaming me for that copyright regarding the Jamie's Corner 3.0 channel, the copyright that was filed by an Indian, I guess, rights management company, and you're trying to blame me for something that's impossible for me to have done. And then you, Red Door woman, were saying you were just speculating. Bullshit. None of you were speculating. So, Red Door woman, you want to come out as part of your project of assessing me, right? Because you're the mental health professional, right? You're a psychology major, right? You want to now come out because I'm standing up for myself and proving that I'm being slandered. Now you're coming out and saying that, oh, we were just speculating. You know, if you're a psychology major, Red Door woman, and you're smart enough to be a psychology major, then you're smart enough to understand that someone that does not own the copyright to something can't file copyright on it or even pay a management company to file copyright regarding something that they don't own on their behalf. You already knew that. You're smart enough to be a psychology major, you already knew that. But you were going along with it because it's entertaining to you to watch someone like Tammy come at someone like me. Because no matter how much of a psychology major you are, if you're following this type of content and you're a psychology major in one of the most professional and needed industries on the planet, it goes to show me that you're lacking something too, ma'am. Or you're dealing with some unresolved trauma, right? Why would any professional that is in psychology school, right, about to become a psychologist, why would any professional follow shit content like the content you're following? It's because you relate to it. You relate to the creator. You relate to the audience. That entire audience has issues. All of you are traumatized. All of you lack self-love. All of you are lacking what you see in the creator presenting and projecting, I mean. What you see in the creator projecting, all of you are lacking. You don't like the fact that I can speak very clearly about this and effectively. And that's what makes you mad. It triggers you because the truth triggers you, right? Book smart isn't everything. I hope Dana realizes Tammy isn't worth her time. She is better than stooping to Tammy's level. Right. Right. I agree. And again, these are just examples. These are examples. If Dana wants to use me as an example, right? Then if I feel like it's worthy and valuable to my audience to use her as an example, then I will. That's why I'm doing it. This is a valuable lesson. Everyone can learn something here, right? Listen, there's only so much people are going to tolerate. Even people that are watching a creator create hate content on someone that they hate as well, there's only so much that hate group's going to tolerate. Especially if most of everything at this point is made up just to try to keep the audience around, right? What happens first? The donations start going down, which they have for everyone. Then the numbers start going down, and they have. And the funny thing is, I'm getting more views on my streams than they're getting on theirs. Right? And I don't care about that. I'm trying to prove a point here. I stand up for myself. I stand up for what I believe in, and I don't let this stuff bother me. I don't let it affect me. And talking about it as part of my content is not necessarily feeding into it. It's sharing lessons and teaching lessons and using the best possible examples for these lessons. Well, we got the drums playing now. Yeah. You know, I wish you could pay like $100 or $200 a year and get unlimited access to copyrighted stuff on YouTube. And then everyone pays that, and then everybody gets paid, and we can all do whatever the hell we want and not have to worry about copyright. I think in the future there has to be some option like a master copyright license, and everyone gets paid, right? All right. Give me a second, folks. I'm going to mute for a second. Oh, sorry, I'm back. I must have just muted it again. I'm sorry. I didn't. I thought I hadn't muted it. I got half of P Diddy stuff going on. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I muted. Sorry. Um, yeah, I've been watching a lot of P Diddy stuff with Dawn on Netflix and Hulu. Yeah, yeah. That's just not surprising to me, right? People that have lots of money, right, and have lots of power. Part of what makes them, or part of what gives them a new thrill is trying to get away with doing things that technically are not right. Yeah, what P. Diddy did. Yeah, it just sickens me, Queen. Tia, anyone else. Yeah, I'll share more of my thoughts on the P. Diddy thing some other time. Like, I just, I've got so many things going on, like, I just haven't covered that story. The music industry and entertainment industry are going down. Yeah, yeah. Well, P. Diddy's empire is going down. He's going to go to jail, and it's going to cost him a lot of money. A lot of restitution. Will it bankrupt him? I don't know if it'll bankrupt him totally, but it's gonna cost him a good chunk, and he's gonna go to jail, or at least he should. Never cared for him. I wasn't the biggest P. Diddy fan. Puff Daddy, Sean Puffy Combs. Yeah, remember he was Puff Daddy, and then he went to P. Diddy. How many rebrands has that guy gone through? Well, people can say the same thing about me. I've rebranded. I've rebranded a bunch of times. I shouldn't talk. So we got about another maybe 10 to 12 minutes. So get your final questions, comments, or concerns in the chat. So yeah, again, the worst thing you could do for yourself is self-loathe. I was talking about this with Don earlier today. We were talking about future content. We were talking about, ways that her and I have reacted and overreacted in certain situations in life. Not necessarily in our relationship, but just in general, right? With other people. And, people throwing a pity party is a form of self-loathing. It's a form of lacking self-love. There's no need to self-loathe if you have self-love. You only self-loathe if you lack self-love. You only overreact or project or attack people if you lack self-love. See, Dana, I'm not attacking you. Tammy, I'm not attacking you. I'm not attacking you, Red Door Woman. I'm not attacking anyone. I'm speaking very clearly about actual situations, actual life situations that people are dealing with and are struggling with. You went publicly and said, how do I deal with this? How do I get over this? Dana, you said that in your last video, so I'm responding to it. As a YouTuber, you put out something publicly, I decided to respond to it. And I know you didn't ask for my response, but you don't have to. I can respond to whatever I want. You put it out on the public platform. You're a public figure. And I wanted to respond. Why? Because honestly, I feel my advice is good and it would help you. And I do care. I care about people in general. Even if people trash me, I still care about people in general. Yeah, you know what the problem is, like I've said before, Tia and Queen Helen Casey, is where YouTube has the mute button now is right below the switcher at the top right of the screen. And I like to switch between the front and rear camera. There's the Amazon Prime Mobile. Do you have those in your area, Queen and Tia? These are the Amazon Prime Mobiles, electric vehicles. They're made by the Rivian company, the fancy Rivian electric car company. It's a prissy car. A lot of people here in the Bay Area, they drive Rivians. It's like equivalent to having the Tesla. If you drive a Tesla or a Rivian, you are the shit. Whew. You are cool as hell. You are just rich and successful. Stop it, Eli. You're projecting right now. Actually, here's the thing. Maybe I am projecting a little, but here's the thing. Even if I had millions of dollars, I would never own a Tesla or a Rivian. I like Fords. I like Hondas. That's pretty much what I like. My Online 365. Evening chat. Thank you for continuing to be a channel member. Tia and My Online 365. How are you doing? We are at 76 minutes. Hondas are great. Oh, yeah, Hondas last for a while. Yeah, my Honda right now has 63,000 miles. It's a 2017. And that's not bad. For like almost 7 years. That's because, you know, I work from home and Dawn now lives with me, so I'm not driving 75 miles each way to see her. And yeah, Hondas run great. Any car nowadays is going to run decent up to 100,000 miles. Finally sold my Civic that had 257,000 K. Yeah, Hondas have the best resale value for gas powered cars. Yeah, they're one of the safest cars out there. Hey, My Online 365 says Tia. I'm a Ford person. Yeah, I like Ford too. I used to be a big Ford Mustang fan. I still am. I mean, down the road when I come into some more money, however that may be, I really want to go out and find a classic Mustang. One that's already restored or restore it myself, you know. Mustang was my first nice car. Yeah, same with me. I had a 91 Mustang in 1994, and then it got stolen at my work before they started putting the anti-theft chips on the keys. And now the anti-theft is on the key fob, and these cars now have push start. Like my car is a push start, but you need to have, you know, the fob, the key fob, near the car for it to start. And then you hit the brake, and then you press the push start. So, you know, it's a lot harder to steal cars nowadays. You need to have the electronic key, and you need to get in the car and plug into the computer and all this software, and it takes a lot more time. It's a lot more difficult to steal and hotwire cars. I had 71 grand. Mustang is only Ford I would buy. Shelby, yeah, Shelbys are nice. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of those Mustang kits. The Shelby or the, what's the other one? There's the Cobra, which is made by them. The Mustang Cobra was the higher end, more powerful. Yeah, the Mustang GT and the Mustang Cobra, and then the Shelby, I believe, was the kit that you had to get it modified. I remember those days. They don't make cars like they used to. Nowadays, you buy a car that has everything you need. Back in those days, you would go down to a place like Circuit City and get the coolest car stereo, and then you would have like a cassette deck and a digital tuner, and then in the trunk you would have like a 6 or 10 disc CD changer. Nowadays, the stock stereo systems, like in my Honda, it has like Bose speakers and an 8-inch subwoofer in there. You know, it has a CD player and it has Bluetooth and it has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and we use our phones for everything, so you don't really need anything. But yeah, I remember those days. You could work on your own cars, your own carburetors, right? Now everything's electronic, You can't really mess with it. I also liked Oldsmobile had a Cutlass. They were so popular. Yeah, the Oldsmobiles had the like the Cadillacs, the touring suspension, where when you were driving, you see how I am right now, Tia. You would feel like you were floating, right? Like some of those older Cadillacs, we call them the big tanks, right? The big boats, Detroit Steel, and the Oldsmobiles were the same ways. You would get in there, or the same way you'd get in there, and you would feel like you were floating, dude. Like it was so smooth of a ride, It was like the touring suspension. Today's cars have too many sensors to replace. Oh yeah, yeah. Like even for your tire pressure. Your tires could be fine if your tire pressure sensor gets fucked up, then your light stays on, but it gives you a false positive that there's something wrong. But it's really cool. Like when it gets cold, sometimes my tire pressure thing goes on in the Honda, and then I can just go into the computer screen, the infotainment thing for Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and you can reset, you can recalibrate. It's the TPMS or whatever they call it, the tire pressure monitoring system. Yeah, TPMS, tire pressure monitoring system. Yeah, it's all. Even the air in your car is computerized, which it really isn't a bad thing because if your air is getting dangerously low, and your computer can prevent you from getting a blowout at 70 or 80 miles an hour. I mean, that's a good thing. But I get it. I mean, if the computer goes haywire for the wrong reasons, it's a pain in the ass. Cranks, air, gas, exhaust. Yeah. I do not like all those gadgets. They are nice, but a pain. I love my Honda, my 2017 Honda Accord. It's the best car I've had. It has the reverse camera. You can easily see when you're pulling out. It's got the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. I use Apple CarPlay because I have an iPhone, and then you can see the navigation on the screen. It's pretty cool. I mean, yeah, it's technology, and if it has issues, it happens. But yeah, I actually like it. It's pretty cool. Queen says, this is the world we live in now with the tech. You're right. You're right, Queen. You're absolutely right. So before I get on out of here, yeah, to anyone that's struggling with trauma, the only way that you're going to work through any trauma, past or present, is by learning to love yourself, learning to accept that, hey, shit happens, it is what it is. What you've been through is not to be devalued, it's to be taken seriously. But ask yourself, how long are you going to allow it to affect your life, affect your happiness, affect you from moving forward and having what you actually want? I had some trauma growing up in my younger days, and I started to realize as I got older, why am I letting this shit still affect me? It happened a long time ago, right? And I got to the point within myself that hey, I'm worth it. And I told myself I'm worth it. And I told myself I love myself, just to myself, not publicly, in a non-selfish way, in a selfless way. You've got to love yourself internally for your trauma to rid you. Because as long as you keep on holding on to that trauma, including you, Dana, it's never going to change. Only you can make a change. And you can start making that change right now. Let's see what you do. I'll keep an eye on you for a little bit. And I'm not saying that to be weird. We're on YouTube here. I'll watch to see what you do in a respectful and mature way. And I might respond again down the road, or I might just say, hey, it's not worth it because you can only do so much for people, and then the rest is up to them, right? Right now the ball's in your court, Dana. You're in more control than you think you are. Right? You're in more control than you think you are. And despite what you feel or think about me, I wish you nothing but the best. I don't know if you believe in God or not, but God bless you. And I really hope that you work through this, rid yourself of that trauma, and stop letting that woman bother you. It's not going to change. Blame our legal system and blame our government more than blame Tammy. Honestly, Tammy's a piece of crap for exploiting our system like that. That's the frustrating part. As far as what she's doing out here, we can ignore her. Let her take the few bucks from my content. Let her stream unlisted. Let her, if that makes her feel better about herself and the 10, 15, 20 pathetic people that are still paying her a little bit of money and a little bit of attention, that's cool. It's all going to pan out and fizzle out in the end. It's not always easy. You will get through it, of course. But thank you, Tia, for being here. Thank you, Queen Helen Casey, for being here. I'll let Dawn know. Thank you, My Online 365, for being here. Thank you, Wicked Lee, for being here earlier. And anyone else that was watching behind the scenes. Hang on a second. Be right back. All right, we are back live. Thanks, Eli. Another great show. Have a good night, day, everyone. Yeah. 87 minutes, an hour, and 27 minutes. With that being said, folks, I hope tomorrow I can get out to the trail. I've been meaning to say that, but just too much has been happening. I hope it clears up by tomorrow. I think it will. Have a good one. Take care, and as always, please be good to each other. Good night.